What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. Let me see where I can get it. I done almost forgot where my using my equipment the right way. What up, what up, what up, what up? How y'all feeling? How y'all doing? I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock out with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are back in the studio. We kicking it. We up. We here. And we rocking out. We got a heck of a show for y'all today. I'm going to just tell you right now. Being back in the studio, it feel good. Feel good. Getting my reps in. Back here, you know what I'm saying? I got my cameras. I got my equipment. I got my big screens. I got everything that I need to make sure that I give you guys the best show ever. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? I got some upgrades coming into the studio. We got to go full fiber. Got to go full fiber. I've been seeing a lot of alerts on my phone, and then I had a rep come in and kick it with me today. He said, Anton, you guys use a lot of data. You need a dedicated fiber line. I said, I know. You know what I'm saying? I absolutely know because I was getting notifications while I was out on the West Coast, and the notifications was basically saying, hey, we having small little interruptions here and there. And that's why you guys sometimes see me, you might see it freeze or you might start seeing it doing all that and you got to refresh it. It's because I have this is a dedicated show that's interdependent on my own connections and everything that I have going on here. It's not like using StreamYard. It's not like that rookie stuff. This is a dedicated connection and we got to be up 100% of the time. So you got to invest in yourself. You got to make the move. We got Stock Club this weekend. Not Stock Club. Block Club. First time Block Club. We're going to do that on Sunday. So we got Block Club on Sunday. It's going to be fun. It's going to be absolutely awesome. If you guys are not a part of the Patreon, you need to join the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. It is an awesome product. Listen to Look at my skin. Look at my skin. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. You don't want to be looking like a dusty. Every day I use Tiege Hanley. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. It's awesome. And then last but not least, if you guys have not gotten your tickets to come and kick it with me in Atlanta, I don't know what to tell you. It is going to be an awesome time. All right, it's going to be awesome. Come and get your tickets. Detroit, December 14th, Atlanta, November 2nd. Before the election, we're going to be talking about everything. Politics, relationships, money, all of that. I'm going to probably do a special session separately just for the bag chasers. So if you have not got your tickets, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get it popping. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up to all my friends and family. I see you, Slimmy, Molly, Laura, Azriel, Yakar, Linda, Zeno. What up, friends and family? Eric, Atum, Therese. What up, y'all? I see everybody in the chat. I ain't miss you. I just see y'all. So many of us. Let's rock out, y'all. Y'all ready to get it started? Because we got a whole show to get to, and I just want to get to the bulk of things. I don't want to slow it down. Let me read this super chat. I'm going to read a couple of the cash apps. I don't ask for it, but I absolutely want to make sure that I acknowledge the people that support the platform. 876 Vlog says, happy 28th birthday to me and the Bag Chasers for life. Shout out to the Bag Chasers. Happy birthday to you, big dog. Shout out to all of my October babies out here in these streets. Feeling good, feeling good. Shout out to all of the October babies. I don't know the signs and stuff, so y'all gonna have to cut me a little bit of slack. I'm not a horoscope guy. But I do want to acknowledge the people in their birthdays. Mike, that dude, I appreciate you, big dog. ESDC, thank you, my friend. LaShawn says, thanks for informing and injecting some common sense. Thank you, LaShawn. Holla says, respect your content. Oh, man, hold on. Let me give you the footy ball. Jesus, y'all be looking out trying to make sure I got some lunch. Dylan Chaos has been grinding. The Bag missed a few shows. Yeah, but you've been getting that money. You've been getting that money. Keep me in your headphones. Make sure y'all send this to Gam Gam. I know a lot of times y'all miss out on the likes. Sometimes the likes a little bit lower than I want it to be, but make sure y'all send this to all of your friends and families. Hit a like on your way in the dough and subscribe if you haven't already and turn on your notifications. We do it Monday through Friday, every single day. We got after hours tonight. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I'm going to have my friends with me, Slimmy, Mika, Quentin. We all going to do our thing, all right? All right, y'all ready to get started with the show? Let's get started with the show. First things first, quick hits. Hey, what happened to quick hits? There we go. We got to get back into the groove of things. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to it, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop on what's happening out in these streets. First things first, a white supremacist gang has been indicted, and they bust them up. Check them out.
We begin today with the arrest of 42 members of the San Fernando Valley-based white supremacist street gang, the Peckerwoods. The indictment charges a total of 68 defendants with numerous federal crimes.
And now Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia is live at the LAPD's North Hollywood station with the details and video of some of the arrests made today. Sid?
Guys, it was the LAPD, the FBI, the DEA, and other police agencies that took part in the takedown today. As you mentioned, dozens of members of this white supremacist gang were taken down, and according to the feds, they committed more than just hate crimes.
Taking the guns out of the hands of gang members, taking drugs off our streets, increases the safety and reduces the harm that these activities pose to our communities.
The LAPD, FBI, DEA, and other law enforcement agencies announced today that they've taken down dozens of members of the notorious white supremacist gang, the Peckerwoods. The gang is based out of the San Fernando Valley.
Y'all got to cut me some slack. Wait. There is no better way to put a target on your back than to name yourself the Peckerwoods. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus Christ. Listen, if you're going to be racist and you're going to be gang members and you don't want to catch the RICO, chances are you don't want to name yourself the Peckerwoods. That's just a word of advice. For all of y'all that decide that y'all want to start a gang in the future, you probably shouldn't name yourself the Peckerwoods. Probably shouldn't. Nothing like that. Peckerwoods, Woody Woodpecker, none of that. Just stay away from any dumb name like that, all right?
29 federal arrest warrants were served this morning. 68 members of the gang were indicted on charges ranging from gun violations to identity theft.
Hey, they putting their logos on themselves. This idiots. They deserve this.
It appears, however, that the business of hate was not enough for them. Their criminal activity took on different forms. Driven by greed, as alleged today, they engaged in drug distribution, multiple fraud schemes, and firearms offenses.
So they the white version of the schemers and the scammers that we see in the community. All right, I get it. Listen, the one thing about me is that I don't believe in discriminating. And so we not just going to highlight what happens in the hood. We not just going to highlight what happens in Chicago and Oakland. We going to make sure that we get these Peckerwoods up out of here also, right? Because we deal with character. We don't deal with color. And so if you are a person that is doing negative things, and I just so happen to see it inside of my email because you guys send me a lot of this content, I'm going to call it out, and we're going to make sure that we hold you accountable and bring you to the front of the congregation.
42 of the 68 gang members indicted are now in custody. The remaining 26 are fugitives. The Peckerwoods, according to federal law enforcement, have aligned themselves with the Aryan Brotherhood and Mexican Mafia prison gangs.
What we wanted to do through this
Why would
investigation
they be lying with the Mexican Mafia?
was neutralize this threat as quickly as possible. So as I said, we're not going to wait around for a tragedy
What up,
to occur.
Jennifer?
We're going to take action right away. And in order to do that, we use every tool in our federal toolbox to address that. And that's what we've done today.
So shout out to the idiots, the Peckerwoods. Thank you for make sure you brand yourself accordingly so it's easier for the feds to be able to find you and then indict you. In addition to that, parents are turning their kids in after being identified or their images being displayed by the news and by the police for a flash mob robbery. Check it out.
In Los Angeles, police getting some surprising help from suspects' parents, turning in at least 3 teens to officers in recent days after the department shared images of massive bike flash mobs ransacking 7-Eleven stores.
With all the publicity that we use the media on the flash mobs, that the parents had seen that and decided that the right thing to do was to bring the child in.
Good
The
job.
LAPD says there have been more than a dozen of these flash robberies at 10 7-Elevens across the city since July, where mobs of young people flood stores, snag merchandise, knock over displays, and take off, typically occurring on Friday nights. While there are calls for more precise data, research shows Los Angeles is the most affected city in the U.S. by organized retail crime.
I think these individuals have been lulled into a false sense of security, into thinking that if they do it in mass, that somehow they may be able to just slink away because of the sheer numbers of perpetrators. And so this time, not so much.
The stores often left in shambles, requiring major cleanup efforts and becoming a priority for the LAPD, applauding parents who are choosing to hold their kids accountable.
It is interesting to hear that parents themselves were active in getting their children to be held accountable for those and to face consequences.
The parents is actually probably trying to save their kids' lives. A lot of these parents be at their wits' end. They be single parents. They be in difficult situations. They can't reach them. They're not hearing them no more. And it's a lot of other reasons that go into it. You know, single parent households a lot of times play a role in it. Your environment, your culture, it plays a role in it. How you influence plays a role in it. Where you spend your time and who you spend your time with plays a role in it. So all of that stuff plays a huge role in it. And a lot of times when your parents get to the point to where they're willing to turn you in when they see you on the news, it's a last-ditch effort to save your life. For all of the young people that may or may not see this, remember this. When somebody tells on you, a lot of times it's the best thing for you. They probably saving your life. Y'all like to live in this fantasy world of the no snitching or whatever and all of this stuff. Look, when somebody actually be like, hey, man, he did this, they probably saving you from death. They saving you from prison. And the parents that see their children have no control over their children and choose to protect them against being held accountable, they're very much just a part of the problem.
Minors were booked for robbery and released back to their parents.
When you engage in foolishness, you play stupid games and you win stupid prizes. And so I'm glad that these parents are modeling and teaching their children that every choice has a consequence. And hopefully this will deter these young people from doing it if they've done it before and the parents just didn't know.
All right, Emily Aketa joins us now in studio. So, Emily, what else is the LAPD doing to sort of get these robberies, which are very high profile because we watch them all the time on the news? How do they get them under control?
So I mentioned those several arrests, but police actually believe there were something like 20 to 40 young people that had been involved in this string of robberies over the last number of months. And they believe that some of those people weren't even from the area of the crime. So they're getting in touch with school resource officers, school districts across the region, and they're also putting out an ask to the public to bring forward any kind of information. They've already received a number of anonymous tips. And as we've seen, we know some of those tips, critical tips, could be coming from the families of the suspects themselves.
If you see something, say something and keep your neighborhood safe. Otherwise, you're going to both enable them to go to jail, and you're going to lower your property taxes. And then last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Mexico swears in their first female president. Hopefully we're not going down that same path.
A historic new era in Mexico, as Claudia Sheinbaum was sworn in as the nation's first female president. Sheinbaum, a 62-year-old climate scientist and a former mayor of Mexico City, started her 6-year term addressing a room of more than 100 high-profile invitees, including U.S. First Lady Jill Biden, promising to strengthen women's rights and Mexico's economy.
Promoveremos la inversión pública y la inversión privada.
Yo. Listen, with all due respect, Claudia, President Claudia of Mexico, I'm not going to tell you what Mexico needs, all right? Strengthening females' rights should probably not be the first thing on the list. Making sure that a lot of people not coming into your country in order to come over into our country should probably be first on the list. And I know that Jill Biden is over there celebrating you, you know, as though she shouldn't be down there with the hurricane victims, but we're going to get to that later on today. But I think that the first priority should probably be to protect your own borders and then protect our borders from your borders, because a lot of people keep coming from your country into our country. So maybe we shouldn't focus so much on female rights, and we should start focusing on making sure that we protect the borders. I don't know. Drug cartels, fentanyl, all of that stuff. Maybe we shouldn't do the posturing.
Digo con toda claridad, tengan la certeza que las inversiones de accionistas nacionales y extranjeros estarán seguras en nuestro país.
Sheinbaum, the country's first president of Jewish heritage, made history in June when she won a landslide election as a member of the governing Morena party, which was founded by her mentor and predecessor Andrés Manuel López Obrador.
I think what we've seen so far, based on her speeches and
you know, I hate these backgrounds. I know that's like a thing since the pandemic, and AI is making it even more advanced and stuff like that. But I don't like the Zoom backgrounds and stuff like that. Just give me your regular background, or get against the white wall, or just go completely green screen and just have a black background or whatever. I hate these manufactured backgrounds. They look so stupid.
Based on the appointment of cabinet members, is quite a bit of continuity with what AMLO did over the last 6 years.
Though crime rates remained high during his term, Obrador left office with nearly 80% approval rating, due in part to policies and programs that targeted poverty. Sheinbaum vowing to carry on his biggest projects, which include the Hawks, not bullets approach of avoiding violent confrontations with drug cartels.
No regresará la irresponsable guerra contra el narco.
But she will also inherit a nation struggling with a weakening currency and a rising budget deficit.
As President Sheinbaum mentioned during her inaugural speech, about 10 million people were lifted out of poverty. These are clear indications that the emphasis on the more disadvantaged sectors of society will continue.
With the U.S. presidential election just weeks away, all eyes on how this new administration will navigate the results and maintain a strong relationship with its largest trading partner.
Claudia Sheinbaum will govern from the building behind me, Palacio Nacional, and her relationship with the United States will really depend on what happens on November 5, when Americans elect their next president.
When we elect Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. All right, let me read a couple of super chats, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. Hey, yo, Anton, I can hear your smoke detector going off. Use a lie, because I don't even got regular smoke detectors. This is a whole studio, big dog. This ain't my home. This ain't no home office. Use a lie. Use a lie, and the truth ain't in you. Let me read a couple of these super chats. You ain't never heard no smoke detector ever going off for me, ever in your life. Not even at my crib. Neutral says, morning, Anton and the Chasers. When are you going to get back to Tiffany? We got bigger fish to fry. We ain't got time for these little guppies in the pond. FPSD says, notice that white gang doesn't go around shooting other whites. Is that supposed to make us feel better? Murder is murder. Crime is crime. And I bet you, and I guarantee you, they go around hurting each other. They probably hurt people within their own thing. I don't know how y'all justify some of the stuff y'all say. They don't go around shooting each other. I don't want criminals walking around at all, whether you're doing it against people that look like you or people that don't look like you. I think that crime is crime, man. Y'all some wild folks. Wild folks, but the chat is my co-host for today. So, y'all ready to get started with the show? Let's go ahead and get it popping, all right? So, first things that we want to talk about is Jaguar Wright, all right? So, Jaguar Wright, for all intents and purposes, is a woman that was in the music industry. She says she's been in the music industry for roughly 30 years. But I'm sitting on a plane yesterday, and of course, I know who she is. I'm aware of her. I've seen her platforms. A lot of people even ask me, Anton, do you want to interview her? You want to interview on your platform? I don't. And let me tell you why I don't want to interview these type of people on my platform. Is because I don't want my platform to be just a mess. You know what I'm saying? I want to pick and choose the type of people, and I'm not always looking to just get gossip. I want to give people that give me their opinions, but I think I'm kind of over only talking to people about what it is that they talk about other people. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk to people that gives me insight into their life, what they got going on, so on and so forth. But sometimes, and I've learned from the past, I'm evolving. I've learned from the past that messy is not always best for your platform. And it can also result in getting you involved in some stuff that you don't necessarily want to be involved in either way. But either way, what I am finding, and shout out to Real Life Street Stars and the Art of Dialogue and places like that, what I am finding is that the mainstream media is basically copying everything that we're doing on YouTube as content creators, and they're starting to take the same people that some of us are interviewing, and they're making them mainstream because they feel like they got the tea. See, people don't really pay attention until they get on the mainstream media. More importantly, though, let's get back to what we're talking about. Jaguar Wright recently went on Piers Morgan, and she has some pretty damning allegations against Diddy, Jay-Z, and even Beyonce. Let me see if I can scrub through to actually get to the part where she was talking. Let me see. Where is she at? Is it right here? Here we go. All right, let's get through it.
I'm going to start with you. You've been called a whistleblower. You knew Sean Diddy Combs for a long time. You attended a number of his infamous parties. And in 2022, you made headlines after comments where you called him a sex trafficker. And in response, you were called crazy and jealous. Do you feel vindicated by the events of the last few weeks?
No, not at all. Because he's just the beginning. Until him and his cohorts are all held to account publicly and legally, the victims, they're not safe.
How bad was it?
That's what I care about. I care about the victims.
No, I understand. How bad was it, do you think, what was going on?
I'm going to tell you right now that me, as a woman who has been in the industry for over 30 years, I've been performing live since I was 13. My first handler was McKinley Horton. I come to find out 25 years later that a scar that was on his face with a very elaborate story he gave me was put there by a woman who he assaulted. To live through these things and hear your...
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Let me let it play, and then we'll get there.
Elders in the business, people like Patti LaBelle say, just avoid him, honey. And being taught to be just avoid him, honey. It's not good enough. Not when you live through these things, you're still suffering the PTSD created by all of this, and you're talking to a victim that's 20 years younger than you, and she's telling you the exact same thing that happened to you. So you want to know why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
So somebody in the chat, since the chat is my co-host, somebody tell me, because I'm learning as I go. I don't pay attention to every single thing that happens on the internet. What happened to her? People in the chat is saying that this happened. What happened to her? What exactly happened? What did Jay-Z do to her? What did Diddy do to her? And that doesn't mean that they not nasty or they not whatever it is that they do. Some of y'all, I'm curious because again, I can't go off of hearsay. I can't go off of opinion. I can't go just based off. I don't by default believe anything that anybody says without them actually substantiating their argument. That's my slogan. Substantiate your argument. Help me to understand why it makes sense. Because most times, 99% of the time, 99% of the time, when I have conversations with people, I find that there's some truth in it. So it makes it believable, but then it's also exaggerated, some fabrication in there. And I don't know. I'm just looking at it from the surface. Somebody tell me what exactly happened to her. Somebody said apparently Jay-Z. No, did he or didn't he? I think Jay-Z smashed her or something. See, y'all just guessing. Y'all just guessing. Everybody just guessing. 100% everybody is just guessing.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy.
Somebody said, and Anton watched the press conference. We're going to get to the press conference on the next video. Don't you? Listen. I need y'all to start reading. We use multiple different pieces to bring y'all this news show, okay? At the bottom of the screen, it says up next. I put that there for y'all for a reason. So you'll know what's coming next. Up next, Diddy hit with 120 new sexual assault allegations. We're going to go directly into those allegations in a press conference next, all right? Right now, it says Jaguar Wright says Jay-Z and Beyonce is worse than Diddy. So what I'm asking you, not what's next, but what's now, what I'm asking you is, I'm going to just let it play and then we'll figure it out from there.
What do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
There's been obviously a lot of
cruelty-free artistry.
Right. There's been a lot of rumor mill about what has happened in the rap world. A lot of allegations that the misogyny in the lyrics clearly was based on a general misogyny towards women away from the music.
Some wild
and
boys
that clearly
in the
seems
chat.
to have been borne out by these charges against Diddy, which if he's found guilty of all this, he's never coming out of prison. How dangerous do you think?
Thank God.
How dangerous?
She is dramatic. This drama is so extra. And y'all love the drama. Y'all love this. Y'all absolutely. I want to say the cuss words, but I'm mindful of that. Y'all might be listening. I mean, right, BCE. Why is she always talking cryptic? We'll get there. We'll get there. Come on, man. Let's just listen to it, bro. Let's take it all in and let's consume it, and then let's draw a conclusion shortly afterwards.
What do you think he is as a person?
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met. A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange. He was selected to be the demon that he is, to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to rape it for all of its precious jewels. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous. And everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job. He's the Judas.
I'm not saying that there's not some truth in it. Hear me out, y'all. Hear me out. I'm not saying that there's not some truth in it. Very much so. Of course it could be some truth in it. But the drama, the theatrics, it makes for great entertainment. So Pierce is getting what he needs.
Do you think that if he's cornered in the way that he's been now, that he may start revealing things about other people?
He has no choice. His ego and his drug addiction won't allow him to do anything different. Anybody who thinks he's not going to talk is crazy. The simple fact that he's not saying more now only means that the people who have been protecting him all along, who put him in position to be such a horror to the Black community, still find value in him.
You can't tell if I'm about to burst.
He's got everybody on tape. They all know it.
For those who were never at these freak-off parties, what were they like?
See, this is the thing. Everything that I'm about to say to you is not my firsthand knowledge. It is my firsthand witness account experience.
I'm a C student, so I'm a little slow. Let me take that in. I got to listen to it one more time. Give me a second. Let's consume it.
Everything that I'm about to say to you is not my firsthand knowledge. It is my firsthand witness account experience.
Firsthand witness account experience. Is she saying, now again, remember, I'm a C student, so bear with me now. Some of us are D students, so don't act smarter than me. Firsthand witness account experience. Is she saying she's seen it with her own eyes? Or is she saying that she's familiar with somebody else that's told her exactly what's going on? Or both, some combination of both. Chat, y'all help me out here. Is she saying, because I wish people, when I ask people to talk to me in person, especially people that work for me, I tell them, my slogan to them in particular is, talk to me like a little child, like a little baby. Break it down to me like I'm a child, like I'm a second grader. Help me to understand it. Just talk clearly. Don't talk cryptic. Don't be extra with me. Just talk to me like I'm a child. So is she saying that she was there, or is she saying that, because I don't, or is it a combination of both? Okay. She's saying it was done to her or somebody else told her. Because see, y'all don't even know. Y'all confused in the chat. Y'all telling me y'all don't know. I don't know. We trying to figure it out together. We wasn't there.
I was a sex worker. I was a dominatrix before I got my record deal. That's how I know how the dark world and the sex world and the entertainment world run hand in hand.
So she wasn't there. So basically what she's saying, she said she was a sex worker and a dominatrix before she got her record deal. Is she saying that she's familiar with the signs? And so the firsthand accounts and the witnesses that she's familiar with can translate that to her? It's not very clear to me. I know it's clear to y'all. Y'all smarter than me. It's not clear to me. All right, let me just hear it.
That's why the movie Blink Twice is so important. Salute to Zoe Kravitz. The sex workers that I have worked with throughout the years and continue to work with even to this day have worn hidden cameras. I have my own tapes. I've seen what they do. The ritualistic behaviors, the drugging, putting girls in the suitcases, dumping them in alleyways. It's horrifying. And it's all done under the protection of this is going to be paid off. There's another NDA. This is going to be, it's terrible.
It seems to have been something that a lot of people knew about, but people were simply too scared to talk about.
Everyone knows. And every person that's sitting there trying to act surprised knows very well. The whole point of this, like Cat Williams said when he sat with Shay Shay earlier this year, the whole point of this is for them in a coordinated effort to pretend like none of it is real for the public's perception. But everyone knows what's going on, and it's been going on for years. It's been going on before Diddy. See, people keep looking at him like he's the Sputnik that came out of nowhere. This is someone who was designed to be what he is. We got to stop making Diddies. And if we're going to do that, then we got to go back. We got to go back to even further the mentors of these people. Because Diddy was taught how to do what he does systematically, and Clive Davis has been his greatest teacher.
Look, Clive Davis is not here to respond to that, nor is Jay-Z. But
Pierce had to protect himself. He said, listen, they not here to defend themselves. This is all on you, big dog.
a lot of people, famous people in the music industry, have been
Shout out to
notable, like I
Chris
say,
James.
by their silence so far. It's also been notable that since the Me Too campaign began in 2017, the music industry has largely avoided the same scrutiny that other industries have had. Why do you think that is?
I'm sorry.
I hate when people say she's speaking facts, y'all. Y'all just say anything. This is how a lot of people wind up getting locked up without evidence, man. It's a lot of people today. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, because it don't even matter what we think. It's all entertainment at this point, because if she did see something, if she did have some tapes, then how come she didn't go to the police? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, look. Just because people want to pretend like they're a whistleblower and that they deep, if you know something, why you ain't at the police? Because either way, you either a willing participant and you didn't get the money, or you didn't get the fame, or you aged out, or they're not checking for you no more, you know, no longer part of the Cool Kids Club, or you seen something and you was a part of the Boule and a part of the Cool Kids Club at one point, and so you was participating and you protected it, because if you seen something, if you got tapes, then how come you didn't turn them into the police? See, I'm a very black and white person. I am a very clear person on where I stand. Really clear on what I stand. I don't mesh and meddle in between the two. Either you is or you aren't. Either you good or you bad. Ain't no in between, ain't no victims. I don't believe in that stuff, because the only victim that I can identify is the one that actually said that they was a victim at the time of the crime. I don't go back 30 years. I'm not trying to figure it out. I've been seeing Dame Dash and Jaguar Wright and all of them, and they all profiting off of this, and they getting the bag on these interviews. Trust me, they getting a huge bag because of this interview, and they profiting off of it, right? And so now they want to come out and they want to seem like they oracles. And I hate the fact that I got to have the unpopular take on this situation, because again, I don't care about Diddy. I don't care about Jay-Z. They don't affect my life either way. Means nothing to me. But when I see these people come out, for example, you can't be a Dame Dash and be around Jay-Z for the overwhelming majority of your life. Inception, all the way up until you start not making money with him. Now when you ain't a part of the Cool Kids Club and you can't get no more money with him, all of a sudden they become the devil. So did they become the devil before or after y'all start getting money together? Were they the devil before or after? If you got tapes, then how come you ain't going to the police? If you don't automatically know something, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Either you tear the whole thing down, including yourself. You don't get to absolve yourself from it either. Either you tear the whole thing down or you holding it up. Because any little crack and crevice, you know what I'm saying? If you was busting it down for a real one, then you wasn't a victim. You was a participant. And if you got tapes and you seen stuff happening, which means that you was willingly there doing stuff too, then that means that you are a participant, not a victim. And just because you want to be a whistleblower, don't absolve you from being a participant and not a victim. I'm not gonna sit here and sit here and act like these people. Listen, if he the devil, you the devil too. If they the devil, you tear the whole thing down. If we gonna tear it down, then get them all up out of there. Get them all up out of there. No, Anton, you wrong. Dame been a stand-up dude. Was he a stand-up dude when he was moving work in your community? Or was he a stand-up dude just because he wasn't participating in freak-offs? Because he was there when Jay was rapping about, you know, the 96 bricks that he lost. And he was there when he was talking about how he put on, but all of a sudden he a stand-up dude too. See, I don't separate sin. I don't separate it at all. See, again, I'm a very black and white person. So when I'm observing this through the lens of a person that's saying, I don't like none of these people. I don't interview rappers. I have never interviewed a rapper in my life. I don't like none of them. Don't sit here and tell me, no, he is stand-up dude. Was he a stand-up dude when he was poisoning your community, when he was moving drugs? Was he a stand-up dude when he was talking to Aaliyah? Oh, we don't want to have that conversation. Or was he mad? Was it a beef over Aaliyah? Or do Dame get to absolve himself out of it because he broke now? So when Jay got to the top of the mountain, all of a sudden Dame was a stand-up dude. But they was pouring bottles on hoes and big pimping, spending cheap. Dame was the one that was throwing all of the bottles. But all of a sudden, since he broke and he the only one that's talking because he ain't got no more money, he a stand-up dude all of a sudden. Now your sin is less than his sin, but you was rocking with him your whole life until you became broke and he separated himself with you. Now you ain't in it no more. Let me stop. I don't mess with none of these people. From the very beginning, since I came into this game as a content creator, I said that you got to be careful of the company that you keep, because I don't sit here and place her on no pedestal. Okay, so let's say she's telling the truth. Let's say she's telling some of the truth, any of the truth. Does that mean that she good? She not no hero because she broke and can't participate in the game no more. So now they got to depend on interviews in order to feed themselves. I'm not sitting here and pedestalizing these hoes. Y'all think that if she your hero, then God bless you. If she your hero, then God, she ain't nothing but a snitch, because she was a snitch is a person that participated, didn't benefit from it, or they got caught up in something else and then they threw somebody else under the bus in order to get themselves out of the situation or profit from it. That's nothing. That's the very definition of a snitch. And I'm thankful for snitches, because snitches need to tear the whole system down. But once the whole system go down, throw them away too. Throw them away too. Sitting here talking to me about all of these people. Oh no, they a stand-up dude. When have any of them been a stand-up dude? None of these people are stand-up people. None of them. That's how they got into the industry in the first place. They all sold their souls. And now they're trying to buy it back. I see her trying to buy her soul back. That's what I look at. When I see her, this person that's over there telling on everybody else, when I see her, I see somebody trying to buy their souls back. That's a dark, demonic soul right there. And see, I could say that because I'm clean and I don't have nothing over me. You can't sit here and say, Anton participated. I ain't got nothing, nada, zero, zilch. And see, when you clean, set aside, sanctified, set aside, without spot or blemish, you can call out a demon when you really see one. See, I don't respect demons that call out demons. I just laugh at them and I use them for entertainment. But she trying to buy her soul back. That's what's really happening with all of these people that you see in the industry that now all of a sudden want to be whistleblowers. They trying to absolve themselves of the situation and buy their souls back. I don't respect none of them. You respect them. I don't respect none of them. Never even bought her album. But it's good for entertainment. Let's rock.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Since Me Too began in 2017, the music industry has largely avoided the same kind of scrutiny that other industries have had.
You see her eyes? You see her? Eventually, the devil got to come collect.
What do you think that is?
Well, because the Me Too movement was a ruse. It was a setup. It was a scam. I'm saying that now, publicly. Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail. Get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there. If the Me Too movement were real, why aren't they speaking now? They've also been very quiet in this time of the diddler's downfall.
Jaguar,
Guess they're on vacation.
If this goes to court, Jaguar, do you think the world is going to be shocked by what comes out?
Oh, absolutely. I just don't know why they are. It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades. For decades.
How many victims?
What's the difference between me and Judy Garland? Social media.
How many victims?
There was none for her.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give.
She talked to hundreds of people that she dealing with. I don't know, maybe it's true. Who can say? Who can say?
Testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim Porter?
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about, Pierce.
Listen, like I said, Jay-Z and Beyonce are not here, unfortunately, to respond to that.
I know. I'm just being honest with you.
You're perfectly entitled to your views, obviously. Kim Porter,
yes.
A new book claims that Diddy may have been involved in her early death. What do you think of that?
Didn't the guy, I don't know, somebody let me know inside of the chat, my co-host of chat. You know what, I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to work on that over the weekend where I can get the chat. I need to find a better way to show the chat over there so I can see y'all's comments on the real screen. Somebody tell me, was that book a real book or was that something that somebody wrote with AI? Because I didn't read it because I need to, if she didn't publish it, I didn't read it. I don't have time to read it. I'm over here trying to finish The Intelligent Investor for like the 7th time. So if I'm going to read something, it's going to be something that's going to help me, not to just entertain me.
I think people should really look into that more. I am friends with Albie Shore. I love him. I love his children. I knew Kim. We used to all
It's
hang
a
out
fake
together
book?
at the Kit Kat
Okay.
Club back in the mid-90s when Diddy was first starting his reign. I watched that whole thing happen. And everything that Albert has been through, every attempt on his life that has been ignored by the authorities, it all leads back to Diddy, and everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting AirTag on children during visits. These are normal practices that these
Putting air tags on children during their visits. I thought that air tags just came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
people do.
Jaguar, I've got to leave it there. I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much.
Oh, look at the drama. Look at the dramatics. Look at her. Watch this.
Normal practices that these people do.
Watch this.
Jaguar, I've got to leave it there. I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much.
I had an auntie like this one time. Honestly, honest to God, I had an auntie like this. And everything that she says, no matter if she was going to get Kool-Aid or if she was going to get the Holy Ghost, it was always, no. You know, just like she wake up crying and she go to sleep crying all day. And people would just be like, oh, you just so, like the first time they would see her act like that, like if you didn't know her, then you walked into her, it would be like, oh my God, is everything okay? And then after like every day, it's like, oh, Kool-Aid, it touches my soul. It's like, okay. Do you have a normal bone in your body or are you always dramatic 100% of the time? Oh, look at the ending. Look at the ending.
I've got to leave it there. I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much.
Y'all gotta forgive me. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I just don't drink the Kool-Aid. Maybe because I haven't been in the industry. Maybe because I've never been to an industry party. Maybe because I've been married for the last 20 years. I don't know, man. But this is just so far out. The dramatics, the extras. I got the tapes. It's like, oh God, dog. This. Some people in the chat, for example, will say, well, why don't they sue her if it's not true? Well, I'll tell you, as a person that has sued people before for defamation in particular, and I didn't have any problem with it, one of the first things that a lawyer will ask you is because they want you to understand that if this thing goes to trial, then there will be a discovery. And so in that discovery, a lot of y'all may not be familiar with it, but I have a lot of lawyers. In that discovery, different lawyers for different things. In that discovery, it may be things in there that will make you look bad, but it will disprove what the person is saying. And so when you start to file stuff in court, it then becomes public record. So it's not that, well, if it wasn't true, then they wouldn't sue her. It's that if things start to go down a path, there may be things that you don't want people to know about what goes on in your life personally that then maybe be a part of the case or the discovery of this thing. And then it may cost you more money to deal with it than it may be worth to deal with the person. And so sometimes it's just not worth it. Sometimes the person is just so little and so minuscule that it don't make no difference. And I'm not telling you why they wouldn't sue her or if it's true or if it's not true. That makes no difference. I'm just trying to give y'all some additional context in that a lot of this stuff is deeper than just the internet talking points. Stop just depending on the internet and what other people say in other comments to substantiate your argument. That's not enough. It's not enough, all right? So, yeah. And I don't think that any of these people is clean. But is it possible that it's not, a lot of what she's saying is not true? It might be some truth to it. It may not. I don't know. It really doesn't make any difference to me anyway. So, what's up, Kevin King? Yeah, man. I feel you, bro. I feel you. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to move over to the next part of the show. So we got to get to Diddy. We got to get to the diddler. DMT Zell says, what's the point in any whistleblowers coming out when this is the sort of response they will get? I wouldn't have said S if I was them either. So you need somebody to make you feel good before you get out there and tell the truth and fix a community of people? I don't need no accolades, and I don't need anybody in my corner to put no rah-rah behind me in order for me to do the right thing. If my neighbor, let me be quiet. BZE says, why is she always talking cryptic? Because it makes it more entertaining. DMT Zell says, how can we not expect the SA victim to be dramatic? Thank you for the super chat. Stronger Cypher says, I like to go back to that debate. I think people missed the glaring point that Walls made. He said that while in China, he learned how to govern. Yeah, I caught that too, and I pointed that out too. What does that mean? They want to change this country to what and we are going for it. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. BZE says, AD, you're thinking too hard. Nobody knows what the F she talking about. I be trying to. Shout out to my rich friends. Me too, bro, because this ain't nothing but entertainment to me. Shout out to my dog, Chris James. I appreciate you. Smooth Artist says, Jaguar knows what's going on in the Illuminati. Thank you for the super chat. Chad from Moore says, I want to see these tapes. Who is she again? I don't want to see no tapes. Y'all just tell me what y'all seeing on them. I don't want to see no tapes. Dean Murray says, this interview reeks of sage and manifestation. Rod is in the building and says, Anton, Jay-Z featuring Jaguar Wright, song Cry, Jay-Z featuring Jaguar Wright, Heart of the City. She worked closely with Jay and did background vocals on the numerous songs. So because she did background vocals, she worked. All right, I got you. Roy says, this is all on you, big dog. I don't be knowing what I be saying. Jada Aristocrat says, Jaguar finally got the platform she wanted to be on, so we can change the channel now. Eric M says, there might be some truth to what she's saying, but that lady is crazy and actually hurting the movement. J-Rock 24K says, AD, Ross was a mid-tier dealer who became a correctional officer in order to smuggle things into the prison for a gang facing racketeering charges. Research to see who, just context, love big dog. Shout out to you, J-Rock. I appreciate you. High Tolerance says, Quincy Jones been chilling off in the cut. He was playing bumper cars with Marlon Brando, Richard Pryor, and Marvin Gaye. Tevin Campbell finally came out of the closet a few years ago. I thought y'all didn't care about who was gay and who wasn't gay. Dre Harrison says, the book of Revelation speak about the stars falling from the heavens. Metaphorically, this could mean celebrities too. I think it's a sign if you believe the book. Tiffany Roberts says, good morning, Anton. Good morning, Anton. She was the fly in the wall, backup singer to a lot of people, always around. She killed it in Ain't No Love, Jay-Z's Blueprint, Unplugged. Okay, then why was she still working in? Let me be quiet. Let me be quiet. Look, let me just say this. I'll say it in a minute. Dame Dash teeth don't like Dame Dash. Remember his teeth fell out on the lot. He'll never be able to live that down. Jaguar didn't have a problem with it when she was a dominatrix before her rap career. Singer career, big dog, singing career. Tiffany Roberts says she is dramatic, but she has been speaking out for some years. I also believe she has reported to the police a few times, and they would not do anything. Okay, where's the police report then? Dre Harrison says, as important as this is, I feel it's a distraction from what the other hand is doing. I think that this is a distraction from everything, especially from what's going on with the hurricane and stuff, but we're going to get there. Indigenous Goat says it's always a hidden hand with these people. You have to watch. For your information, the feds just pulled up in Henderson, North Carolina. Will the cover-up prevail? We don't know. Dean Murray says Jaguar hit that end-scene pose. She going to get her a movie. She going to get her a bag. Pass a love offering. Can somebody get her a Tubi deal, please? She definitely working on an Academy Award. Give her a little participation trophy at least. Sincerely, Jonica says, you are totally right, Anton. I watched the movie Crossroads as a child multiple times. I just realized my father was putting me on game early. Juno says, why is it hard for you to believe that the ultra-rich people can be evil? Who said that ultra-rich people can't be evil? Just because they sing and dance, they can't be. Just because they sing and dance, they can't be. Are y'all listening to what I said? Y'all didn't listen to that whole rant that I just went off. Thank you for the super chat. Y'all didn't listen to the rant that I just did? Who said it's hard to believe that rich people can't be evil? What are y'all talking about? I don't know if we comprehending. Here, let me say this, and then we're going to move over into the Diddy thing. All right? Let me move over to the Diddy thing. If I show up for a record deal or a business deal or any deal or just to an event and I see demonic behavior going on, guess what? I'm leaving. And I might even call the police on my way out the door. Anybody that knows me, anybody that's ever seen me do a show, anybody that ever seen me pull up to their city, anybody that's ever been to a Patreon event, when the event is over, I leave with my wife and I go back to my hotel and I'm on a first flight smoking back to my city. There is no amount of money, no enticement, no industry, no clout, no anything that you can give me that would lead me to do something that I don't want to do or associate myself in any kind of industry that I don't want to be a part of. Nothing. Zero. Ain't a drug you can get me to take. Ain't a song that you can play. I'm not really sure why we are not black and white. You signed over to hang out with the devil in an industry that was largely always understood to be demonic, whether it was the contracts that you were signing or the parties that you were going to. And now we want to sit here and act like you didn't know what you was getting yourself into. My only argument is that the people that were at the low level are just as much participants as the people at the high level. They just didn't make as much money and have as much fun. All of them in the industry was demonic. They came in rapping about how they got on in the first place. I don't remove you out of it just because you didn't make no money doing it. You didn't have as much fun, but you're still a participant. Why is that so hard for us to believe? Why is that so difficult for us to fathom? If you participate and you decide that you want to sign up, guess what? The devil does not disclude you from holding you accountable. This is so difficult for people to catch. You are not innocent. Let's move on to the next thing. The Diddler. Diddler is back in the news. So Diddy is now hit with 120 sexual assault allegations. Let's see what's happening, y'all.
Steph, thank you. We are following breaking news right now related to music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Major new allegations today of sexual assault and exploitation by Combs. For the first time, we are hearing about victims who say they were minors when they were allegedly assaulted by the music star. The youngest allegedly just 9 years old. The allegations were revealed today by attorneys representing more than 100 alleged victims who are preparing to sue. So let's bring in NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas right now. So Chloe, we know there is currently a press conference underway. We do have a live picture of that. Can you just walk us through these new allegations and tell us if we've heard from Combs yet?
So the individual that you see on the screen right now, that is an attorney based out of Houston, Texas, and his name is Tony Busby. He's been a part of some very well-known litigation over the years involving a BP oil spill, even involving the Astroworld Music Festival crisis where some individuals were killed during a stampede. So he has made headlines before, but this is pretty shocking. So he is claiming right now at this press conference that he has had over 3,000 individuals reach out to his law firm in Houston, Texas, that he and his team have been vetting these claims, that now they are representing over 120 accusers, and that over the next 30 days, they will begin to file different civil suits, that this is not a class action lawsuit, that they are going to continue to vet these allegations, but right now they feel strong about these. So he also said today that it's not just Combs that will be named as a defendant, that there will be other high-profile individuals, some household names. He says, quote, many powerful people, there are many dirty secrets. He says that his team has collected pictures, video, and that the allegations include violent sexual assault or rape, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, dissemination of video recordings, and sexual abuse of minors. So this was something else that they talked about, that there are 25 accusers who were allegedly minors at the time that these allegations took place starting in 1991, span all the way up over 2 decades.
So this is all civil suits, correct? I just want to make sure that we're getting this together. Because again, I'm a little slow. I'm a C student. These are 100% civil suits, right? All right.
He also talks about where these individuals are from. He said that they hail from more than 25 states, New York, California, Florida. We know that Diddy had a residence in Miami, Georgia. We've reached out to Sean Combs' legal team for comment. They have not yet responded. Combs is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn while he is awaiting trial on the New York indictment, where he is charged with racketeering, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. Now, I also just want to point out that they also claim that 62% of these individuals are identifying as African American, and that they are evenly split between female accusers and male accusers, and Clay. So this is very interesting. And he said that look, I know that everybody expected me today or wanted me to name other high profile individuals. He says, I'm not going to do that today, but it will come at some point. And he says that these names will shock you.
Wow. All right. So let me see the actual press conference, because that's the summary of it, but I want to see what he got to say in particular. Let's see.
And many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence.
Make sure you put that marketing up there. Smart lawyer. He put his name up there. He put his phone number up there. He got the back marketing. This dude is getting to a bag chaser.
Wherever it takes us, we will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter, no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less.
You know what that means, right? That means we are coming. This is my translation of it. We are coming to shake you down. We are coming to shake you down. Young, old, small, tall, past industry participants, all of that. Because this is civil. This is not criminal, right? So what they basically saying is, we coming for you. We coming for you. And we coming for everything that you got. Ain't it a blessing, like my dog T Grizzly said, ain't it a blessing that when your parents, for all of us that was raised in a church or was protected against ourselves, and you would want to see, you looking at Rap City and you looking at them spit bars, and you see all of these people that's running around and it seemed like they partying and they have a good time, and they went and got their chain and they went and got their watch from Jacob, and their chain was overpriced, and then it translated and they went in, the chains started being longer and they would have the white tees, and then the chains got shorter and it was almost like chokers. And then they started putting diamonds in the chains and all of this, right? And it was so many people, it was almost like everybody at some point was trying to be a rapper. Everybody was trying to be a rapper at some point, or a singer, or make it in Hollywood and stuff. But for those of us who had great parents in our lives and a strong community and a great church and all of that, and God really protected us. God held us down and he separated us. And he said, listen, and grandma said, look, ain't nothing out there but the devil. And there's so many different people that sold their souls and they just did it for the clout. So many people sold their souls and did it for the clout. All All of that stuff, right? Even if you didn't do nothing, you being associated with a certain person is going to come back to haunt you. Now, certain people in the industry, it seems like, including a lot of them making the band dudes. I remember a lot of people showed up. They wanted to be on American Idol. Oh my God. They wanted to be on Making the Band, like Freddie P and Chopper City and Dylan and Sarah and all of them. And they signed them bad contracts. And we witnessed it and we watched it on MTV in real time. And everybody wanted to be on The Real World and Roll Rules. That might have been before your time. Don't worry about it. I'm a 90s kid, 80s baby, 90s raised me. And everybody wanted to be on Real World and Roll Rules. And I remember all little girls, Dawn and Aubrey O'Day, and they wanted to be on Making the Band. Hey. And God was just sitting in the cut like, yeah, rest of y'all, my kids, we good over here. We chilling. There will be no Making the Band for y'all. Y'all don't even go out on audition. We don't want to hear your bars. They had Ines, and they had all of these people out there, and all y'all was doing was signing up to get bust down. Bust down. I seen y'all. Y'all was doing the Omarion. Touch. 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 Turn the lights on. Oh, baby, by the way. Oh, baby, by the way. Y'all was over there, Touch. You had Batman. Who was, what was it? Not Another Bad Creation. What was the group? Marquise Houston and them. What was them? Well, one of them's name was Batman and another one's nothing, all of that other stuff. Y'all wanted to be a part of the industry so bad. And for all of your children that's in y'all lives, hold on to them, protect them. Be a good parent to them. Stop being a friend. Don't send them to the next R. Kelly trying to get them on. Don't send them to the next R. Kelly trying to get them on. One thing we never did was we never held Aaliyah's parents accountable for not playing a bigger role in her life. Why was she with R. Kells in the first place? Why was she hanging out with Dame Dash and Jay-Z and them in the first place? We never want to hold the parents accountable. We always want to go after the big guy. The first person that did you dirty was your parents. The first Immature. Shout out to y'all. Immature. Then they changed their name to IMX. The first person that did you dirty was your parents. How come y'all not holding y'all parents accountable? Let me get to the lawsuit. I'm sorry.
The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice.
Oh, now they are. Okay.
But no, most of these people are scared.
They're scared.
They fear backlash in their communities.
Okay.
They fear backlash in their own families.
Mm-hmm.
They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics.
Oh, now you get.
I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct.
Keita, you said you wanted to be a child
They should
star?
not be targeted.
Christina Aguilera.
I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it.
I feel you, Keita.
Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward.
Well, sorry about it, big dog. I don't. By default, I don't. I don't believe anybody. I believe what I see, not what I hear. I believe what I see, not what I hear. And even nowadays, I don't even know if I could believe what I hear or see. I don't believe anything anymore. And I evolve as I see new evidence, and I reserve the right to change my mind when different things come out. But until people prove stuff to me, I don't just believe anybody. As I be trying to figure out what that angle is, how much money you getting out of this, what you trying to absolve yourself from. When I see people start to jump out the window a lot of times, you know the first thing that I think? Honest to God, you know what I think? What did you do? Are you trying to get ahead of this? I don't know. That's the first thing I think. The first person we be like, okay, that may make sense. The second, third, fourth, 120th, I'd be like, either it's a money grab or they trying to get ahead of this so they don't find themselves implicated as a result of it. Because if you portray yourself to be a victim, you can't then be the accused. If you portray yourself to be a victim, you can't say that you were part of the boule. No, I was taken advantage of when I got in there. Then you can't be the person that take advantage of other people. So the first thing that I say is, well, what was they rolling it to? I'm just thankful. Just thankful. Thankful that God protected me my whole life. Thankful that God protected me my whole life. Man, he still got my back. Gave me the character, and I told people every single day. Every day I told people, I said, listen, y'all, remember when y'all was against me? Remember all of these years when y'all went against me and when I was saying, hey, you got to have dick discipline. A lot of y'all may be new, but check the receipts, check the chat. I've been preaching this my entire time that I've been on this platform. Hey, you got to have discipline. You can't be out here just having any old chick around you. Be careful. You know what? It's better to get married. When I go out, hey, y'all be wanting me to go out, but I can't do it. I can't hang out. Hey, security is for my protection, not yours. All of this stuff. Don't associate yourself and don't even hang out with certain crowds. Oh, Anton, it's okay. Oh, Anton, we can listen to the music. Oh, Anton, we can do this. Oh, Anton, we can do that. But y'all all, at every twist and turn, you said I was wrong. You said that I was trying to police your box activity, that people can be promiscuous, that they can do what they want to do, that they can do this. Well, guess what? Guess what? By mere association, it's people that just took a picture like, hey, can I take a fan picture? And they be like, look at them. They took a picture with Diddy. Now you want to burn your Sean John suits. No, keep your Sean John suits. Keep your Jordan Sean John suit. Been preaching this the entire time, and I've been meeting opposition at every turn. No, you just trying to please. Hey, people was telling me, man, you got enough money. If you got enough money, you could do what you want to do. Nah, skip that, dog. I was right. At the end of the day, clean as a whistle. I was right. I was right. I'm always right. I'll always win in the end. Always. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. Supporting the Millionaire Morning Show. Shout out to Seeker Truth. Appreciate you. Joshua Wilson in the building says, I can't read that out loud. Mr. Joe says, I appreciate the great content. God bless. Shalom. Shalom says, do touch again, please. That was Shalom with Nadia. Miss Crow T. Shetty in the building. Shout out to Miss Crow T. Shetty. I appreciate you. JT Coin Ring says, you have been consistent with your messages. And they ain't never switched up. Let me give a shout out to my people on Cash App. Also, I appreciate y'all for holding me down. Thank you. All right, y'all ready to get into the thick of things? We got to get over to Cam. Kamala Harris in the building, y'all. So Kamala Harris, got to get to the politics part. Kamala Harris is finally, after a week and multiple weeks of warnings and preparation, Kamala Harris finally showed up to see the damage from Helene, which is largely being described as the second most devastating hurricane outside of Katrina. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is her speech after Donald Trump had already pulled up with supplies with his own money and started helping people. This is Kamala Harris with her speech, y'all.
I understand that the vice president is speaking, and our control room would like to hear what she has to say.
Devastating in terms of the loss of life that this community has experienced, the loss of normalcy, and the loss of critical resources. And so I'm here today to thank all of those who are working to get folks the support and the relief that they so desperately need and so rightly deserve. And that includes the fact that still in this community, up to 60% of the residents here do not have power. Many have been without running water for at least a couple of days now. Many have water but no hot water. I was just talking with one of the members of the community and her daughter who lost her husband. And there is real pain and trauma that has resulted because of this hurricane and what has happened in terms of the aftermath of it. I do want to acknowledge and thank the first responders who have been extraordinary. Having met with them, they are the kind of folks that are the heroes in moments of crisis, who do extraordinary work that is about lifting up other people. As it relates in particular to the leaders who are here and doing that work, including the first responders, most of them, as it relates to the local folks, are folks who have personally, and their families have personally experienced loss and devastation, and yet they leave their home, leave their family to go to centers like where I was earlier to do the work of helping perfect strangers. And it really does highlight the nobility of the kind of work that these public servants have dedicated themselves to, which can be in moments of crisis like this so selfless in the way that they do that work. The president and I have been paying close attention from the beginning to what we need to do to make sure the federal resources hit the ground as quickly as possible. And that
it's been a week. It's been a week.
Includes what was necessary to make sure that we provided direct federal assistance, and that work has been happening. I want to thank the governor for his leadership and his close coordination with
Eric. I know you simping today, but we're not going to do that. Eric, I know you simping today. Can't blame any president for weather disasters. Who's blaming the president for weather disasters? We're holding them accountable for their response to it. It's been a week. A week. And Trump was out there before the president and the vice president of the United States of America. Are we holding them accountable for the actual weather, or are we holding them accountable for their response to it? It's been a week. And she just now getting out there to survey the damage and speak to the people and bring solidarity and then hopefully resources. But we'll get to that. Let's continue.
The federal government with our administration, and I want to thank the local leaders for together creating a task force-like response, knowing that we are at our best when we work together and coordinate resources, coordinate our communications to the maximum effect for the community that has been impacted. And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And
let me tell y'all how disrespectful y'all government is. Let me tell you how disrespectful your government is. I just want to, I want to speak to y'all clearly right now. You know how disrespectful it is to give people $750 for their immediate needs in order to make sure that they're $750. $750. It's disrespectful to even say that. I wouldn't even have said that out loud. I wouldn't even have said that out loud. $750. $750. Think about that for 1 second, right? We have hundreds of billions of dollars, and that's not even including resources and weapons and how much we've spent to develop research and development and the manufacturing of weapons that we've sent over into Israel, Ukraine, and these proxy wars. Brandon Johnson just signed a $100 million contract extension, like he's signing an NBA player, like an NBA player just got an extension. Joel Embiid. Brandon Johnson in Chicago just signed a $100 million extension for a staffing company to help migrants. Brandon Johnson just signed a $100 million contract extension for one staffing company, and they've spent upwards of close to $1 billion in Chicago while facing a $250 million budget deficit this year and a $942 million budget deficit next year. We've spent upwards of close to $42 billion in the migrant crisis just in the last 12 calendar months alone. We are allocating an egregious amount of money over to people that don't even pay into the system, and we giving $750. That's the initial to get you back on your feet. $750 for people that's been paying into the system their entire lifetime, been paying into the tax base, and they get $750 of FEMA money, and they probably got to jump through hoops to get that. $750. They fought tooth and nail, the Republicans, and fought to make sure that they included funding for Ukraine and Israel inside of this Homeland Security bill. And they still got it through without no bill being passed. Zelensky can fly over here whenever he wants and say, hey, man, I need another $9 billion. We on an offensive. And you can't get set. They show up 6 days later, 7 days later, $750. It's disrespectful. It's personally. And she had to read it off of a paper. Let me show you what she said.
FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And
they got to read it from a paper. They ain't even speaking from the heart. I wouldn't even have had the courage to muster that up. Hey, man, take that out of there, bro. Take that out of there, man.
You can apply now for anyone who's watching this who has been affected. There are FEMA personnel who are going door to door to interact personally with folks, especially those who do not have electricity, but also
Didn't Trump pull up with like $25 million in supplies and food and water and gas and all of that and lumber? And then they went and visited the same place that Trump had his press conference said.
If you have electricity, can be applied for online, and I encourage people to do that. FEMA will just basically verify your
Trump
address.
said, I'm about to call in Elon to make sure that y'all got internet connections with Starlink. I'm bringing money. I'm bringing supplies. What do y'all need? He was there before they even made a response to it, before they even tweeted about it, he was there.
The process should take hold. FEMA is also providing tens of thousands more dollars for folks to help them be able to deal with home repair, to be able to cover a deductible when and if they have insurance, and also hotel costs. Today I'm also announcing that the president has approved the governor's request for 100% federal reimbursement of local costs.
Hold on, let me see something, because y'all telling me something in the chat, and so I got to check that. I got to fact check that, all right? Y'all said that Mayorkas said FEMA ain't even got no money for these people? Come on, man. Don't tell me that, dog. Don't tell me that. Let me see.
Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas sounding the alarm on FEMA funding right after the devastation of Hurricane Helene. Listen.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
This all.
Where the money at? What? Hold on. Are you telling me that FEMA is inadequately staffed and it don't have no money? How FEMA ain't got no money? How was Biden calling the ILA union boss for the port workers when the Baltimore bridge went down and was saying, hey man, I finally got some money? How? Where the money at, bruh? Where the money at, bro? How FEMA ain't got no money, but we sending billions of dollars? Billions of dollars. We are funding NATO. How FEMA ain't got no money? Jesus Christ. How y'all voting for this, bro? How y'all voting for this? How are Democrats inside of the chat actually able to justify some of the stuff that they typing right now? Respectfully. Because, you know, we like to make sure that we not an echo chamber. So I always like to invite people to have differences of opinion. It don't mean that I'm going to react to it the same way that you do. But how FEMA ain't got no money? And they expecting another hurricane to hit. And they can't even fix what they got. How is FEMA out of money? That's why they only giving y'all $750 because they ain't got no money. That's why they gave y'all $750 because they ain't got no money. So we gave all of our money away? I'm going to break that down a little bit more on the Anton Daniels channel. Don't worry. We got plenty of videos coming out today. Let me read some of the super chats. This is crazy. Next thing you know, they're going to be doing GoFundMes. But J-Rock says, what's the number? I think he touched me too. I need that double R by Christmas. I'm ready to settle now. What you going to take? Take 400,000? Think we'd take less than that. You know what I'm saying? Alex, shout out to my dog. Alex says, love your channel. Respect, brother. Love you too, big dog. Make sure are y'all not subscribed? And I see that the likes is a little bit lower than they need to be. There's over 5,000 people in here on YouTube alone. And the likes is anemic. It's absolutely anemic. Why don't politicians raise money for situations like this to help the community like they did to get in office? Billions of dollars raised in order to run a campaign, but making sure that they give it. Man, get out of here with that nonsense. Hey, before we continue to read super chats and before we go into the next part of the show, make sure that y'all hit a like for the algorithm. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We go live every single weekday, Monday through Friday in the morning. It's the best morning show on earth. And then last but not least, if you're not a part of the Bag Chasers and the Patreon, the link is in the description. And then come and kick it with us in person. November 2nd, I'm going to be in Atlanta. December 14th, I'm going to be in Detroit. Put discount code Anton in there. Come and kick it with your boy. We're going to rock out, all right? Shout out to Almighty. I appreciate you, big dog. Zach, shout out to Zach. Zach says, Cam and Biden says they broke, and you only get $750 while illegals get billed. Hey, illegal migrants get food stamps. They get cash payments, free housing, health care. Oh, man, it's crazy out here. High Tolerance says, do they at least get a car seat or does that come out to $750? Presidential says they just handed off $8 billion to Zelensky while this disaster. I know they did. I know. He just came begging. Stephen Butler says, you know they probably going to tax that $750 and they're not going to let you write it off on your taxes. Maria Lovely says, Anton, I think after Kamala says $750, no one should want to. That's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. They paying campaign workers. Man, let me be quiet. Bam Bam Lynch says, I didn't have power for 2 days, which doesn't qualify. Oh, so you don't get your $750? Trees. Presidential says, since Obama, Dems have a tendency to not respond to disasters in red states. LTG says, Eric D may need to sit this one out. Bush may have been the worst president in my time, but during Katrina, he paid us way more money than Cam Scam. Eric Wealth Harris says, Ukraine got the money. Mrs. Amazing Avis, shout out to you, says, a North Carolina senator says, see FEMA funds with the migrants. I'm about to do some research. You're about to have me going into deep dive. JP says, $750 is less than half of the mortgage payment of your now non-existent house you still got to pay for. Mr. Lone Star says, if you're from here, billions if you sneak in, and that's what you call pimping. Jason Steakums is in the building. Shout out to Jason, says that area is the world's richest lithium and quartz mine, and residents were pushing back on the mine's expansion. Supposedly, 8 trucks are getting their tires slashed on the way over there. Something ain't right. You know I'm a deep dive, right? Alex says they don't represent me. I'm not voting for them, nor will I ever. They pushing people's patience, and once rage is unfolding, it's going to get ugly. Therese Castronada says, audit the Fed and all of the federal employees. That's what Trump said he was going to do. Kid Chameleon says, the U.S. is dead. Hunger Games, # Squid Games. Preciously Jada, shout out to Preciously Jada, says, this is why Sir Elon need to come in and assess the government and audit the government. Cam has literally sold the country out. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. All right, well, let's see what the devastation really is. I mean, we might as well go and see what the devastation is. Asheville, at the point of desperation from the damage, and the mayor is pleading for help for the federal government. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your
North Carolina is cleaning up from the worst flooding ever on record for the state. More than 100 people are dead from Helene, a number that's still expected to rise. Hundreds more are missing, and roughly 2.1 million customers are without power across the region. New drone video shows just how bad the situation is in Asheville. The city's now isolated after roads leading there flooded and cell towers were knocked down. One emergency official calls it biblical devastation. Tamara Scott of our ABC station in Raleigh is near Asheville right now. Tamara, what kind of damage are you seeing?
Hey, good morning. Well, we are in Swannanoa right now. It's a small town just east of Asheville. The sign says, welcome to Swannanoa, with churches and businesses all across this road, but that no longer exists for this town. Take a look here just to my right. This is just part of the devastation that we are seeing in this area. These floodwaters came in and took out almost this entire town and left just so much destruction here. There's a car down in that valley there. You see this tree branch coming into what was once a bridge here and an entire shipping container. And if you walk just a little further over this way, you'll see where the shipping container. I was here on Friday morning when the waters were rushing in. I saw this shipping container several hundred feet back that way. It ended up right here and left many sinkholes in the area, as you can see here. And just to show you just how heavy the water was, just how powerful it was, it took out this street, it took out these lights here, these power poles, that has left these people in this area without power for days. And there are so many people here who need water, they need food, the power and gas. There are all so many stranded in this area hoping for some relief. Now, I have spoken with some people here, great Samaritans and good citizens who are working to get resources into this area, but that is a struggle because the main highways are blocked. There's only one way in and out of Asheville. And again, this is just about 5 miles east of Asheville, and everything east of here is blocked. I-40 right there is blocked, so you can't go east, you can't go north, you can't go west. There's one way in and out, and that is south. And, you know, rescue crews, law enforcement, they're urging people to just kind of stay put where they are as they work and manage to get the supplies in that people need, the food, the water.
Imagine the amount of people that, because the death toll is steady rising, and there's a large amount of people that haven't even been discovered yet. Imagine the amount of people that was trapped and had confidence, probably has the confidence to say or think that the government is going to save them, and that the government is ultimately going to dig them out of their hole or dig them out of their circumstance. And this hurricane was way more impactful and devastating than you ever could have imagined. And it's only one way in and one way out, and you sitting there and you dying. And then Kamala Harris hold a press conference and say, hey, I'm going to give y'all $750 to be able to bide you over. And then Mayorkas says, hey, FEMA is broke, and we got another hurricane on the way. Wasn't we just talking about living in North Carolina? We just did a review video a couple weeks ago. Yep, dock workers is on strike. We're going to talk about it. It's next. You see it at the bottom? Dock workers are so concerned about automation while DeSantis was cussing them out. But we're going to get there.
The baby formula that these families desperately need right now. And then once they can get that, the main question is what is next? I mean, I've talked with the Swannanoa fire chief here, and he's been here for 40 years. He has never seen anything like this before. There are still so many people who are unaccounted for. Right now, they are leaning on their faith and the hope that this community can come together and lean on each other. Back to you guys.
All right, Tamara Scott, thank you. And let's bring in Mayor Esther Manheimer of Asheville, North Carolina. Mayor, I know it's a busy time, so thanks for coming on. Sure. What kind of damage are you seeing in your community, and how are the people of Asheville doing right now?
Thank you for having us on. The images that you were just showing is what our community looks like. Those rivers run right through the center of our city, and we have absolute unprecedented historic devastation to our community. And these images don't even do it justice to see it bro. In person. It's overwhelming.
We don't have the resources right now, or we don't have the time, money, or resources, in my personal opinion, to dedicate to other countries. I know that we have to have some level of diplomacy. I know that we are participating in these proxy wars. I know that we've committed to doing some of these things or whatever, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't believe that we can spend time and money and resources. If the president is showing up, 6 days, 7 days later, then we probably don't have the capacity to be focusing on what everybody else got going on. We really don't, honest to God. And that's just from my heart. That ain't even on no political stuff. I'm not even going to say it's on the Democratic side or the Republican side, because Congress is made up of both Republicans and Democrats. And what I'm saying is we got to build our own infrastructure. We got to save our own people. We got to get our own ports together. We got to make more products inside of America. We got to make sure that we really, really dig down. And let me tell you why it's going to be difficult to do that with all of this devastation and these problems. Look, most of these towns in Florida is below sea level. Louisiana is below sea level. We got the Army Corps of Engineers and stuff like that. They trying to figure out how to stop rising sea level from affecting these major cities and stuff. It's flooding, historic, hurricanes is getting worse than ever before. We don't have the capacity to be focusing on everybody else, respectfully. We just don't. I know we want to be the participant in every single war and what's going on. We have to focus on our own infrastructure, figure out how we can warn these people, ward off some of these worst disasters is going to happen, right? Disasters are going to happen, but how well and how can we better prepare ourselves to help these people when it happens? How can FEMA be broke, but we allocating all of this money over into these proxy wars? And we talking about flying people. They spending more money to fly people over here and land them in Springfield, Ohio, than they are on the people that's being devastated that's already got homes here in the United States of America. And where's Biden? Why he ain't talking to the people? Why they putting this puppet in front of us?
As a community, we are a strong community. We have neighbors helping neighbors. We have people checking on elderly neighbors, making sure they have water just to flush their toilets, making sure they have drinking water and food. All the people in our community have come together and are helping clear roads and get people out. You can see from images that we have roads washed out. We have people who are isolated. And on top of that, we have a lack of communication services. So a lot of people's cell phones don't work yet, or even if they had a working cell phone, they don't have power to get it working. We have
can't get across the road.
We need water, drinking water, and get our water system up and running. So I'm
about to buy me a pickup truck, bro. Ram TRX. That's where it's going. That way, if everything go to hell, I might get me an electric. I'm about to get me a Rivian. I'm gonna get me a Rivian truck. That way, because I can always figure out how to generate electricity. There ain't gonna be no gas, no nothing. No gas, we can get solar, whatever we gonna do. I'm about to get me a Rivian. Because that's where this is going.
We're a strong community. We are being put to the test, and we're going to make it through this. But this emergency and this crisis is far from over, and we need all the help we can get. But 20 years ago, we did have back-to-back hurricanes that wiped out our water system and did this kind of damage. So it's not completely unprecedented, but I went to college and lived in Eastern North Carolina, and you're right, that's where we typically see where people are used to dealing with hurricanes on a more regular basis than we are.
You get both. You can get you a Rivian and then you get you a TRX. That way you prepare for both. Just in case one of them you can't get the other one, you get both and you good.
Community. So this is and I'll tell you, hurricanes can cause a lot of wind damage and they can cause a lot of flooding, and we got them both. We have downed trees all over our community, as well as devastating flooding you're looking at right now.
Mayor, what surprised you most about all of this so far, and what do you think your community needs most right now?
I think this hurricane developed so quickly and moved very quickly. We heard, of course, that it was going to be a Category 4 when it hit the coast, but I don't think folks knew or expected that the devastation here would be on this level.
And let me just say this. For those of y'all that live in these coastal cities, I like to visit, but I can't permanently move there. I like to visit Miami. I love to visit Biloxi. I like going down to New Orleans, even though they be having a whole lot of voodoo and demonic stuff. I party and then drive back to Biloxi. I like to visit a lot of these cities and stuff like that, but it's bad. It's too bad. I would never, ever just move there permanently and have my home there for the next 30 years or an investment property there for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Once the insurance company started moving out, I knew it was bad. When the insurance company said I'm gone, Anton said, nope. I evaluated buying a place in Miami. I was like, nope. If the insurance company come, I'm good. So I can always fly in and visit, get the hell up out of there during hurricane season. You know what I'm saying? Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go over to the last part of the show. All right? Let's see what we got here. Kung Fu Hustler says, and dumb people only worried about it. Chameleon Harris is black. Where's the money at? They only worried about whether or not she black or not. Why this 750 is being put out there? How they going to give it to him, too? Are they going to give it to him on debit cards? Didn't they offer the same amount for what happened in Hawaii? Pay attention because Demons is at work. Hawaii people ain't getting no bag. Dre Harrison says, I have family in Asheville, and they say the death toll is close to 1,000. Also, 12,000 is missing. So they underreporting to try to make sure that they still look okay. Ray says, Biden in bed, he like, when you 5 minutes from clocking out. He don't even show up half the time. He was on The View the other day. Winnie, shout out to Winnie's Mini Farm. Stay prepped up, says, no money left in FEMA to help with natural disasters as part of the Executive Order 1408 signed by Biden on tackling the climate crisis. This is all by design to help as little as possible. So dumb. DJ Mega Marley says, just saw Byron Donald's Breakfast Club interview. Most of the black folks in them comments is voting red. Let's just do a wave of red, y'all. All right, y'all. Well, let's get to Ron DeSantis, the port workers, and let's give y'all an update on what's happening there down in the docks with automation. And I know that I've been breaking this down every single day, and I'm going to stay covering it until they stop striking. But they're basically having issues and problems because port workers are advocating for a 77% pay raise. And then on top of that 77% pay raise, they want to eliminate automation. right? Now, I was looking at some videos because I was studying automation at the docks. It's crazy. It's crazy efficient. But that's one of the main things that they're worried about. And then Ron DeSantis was really absolutely pissed about the fact that the ports were still closed when people need supplies as a result of Hurricane Helene. Check it out.
U.S. dock workers on the East and Gulf coasts have been on strike for 2 days now with no deal in sight. President Biden said Wednesday he will not intervene and force the union workers back to work. Analysts say a lengthy strike may cost the U.S. economy billions of dollars each day. CBS's Nancy Chen has the latest.
No contract! No word!
As dock workers join the picket lines, one word is top of mind.
Our main focus right now is automation. Automation. We can't have automation.
At least 25,000 union workers at 14 ports from Massachusetts to Texas are now demanding higher wages and job protections against automation, which they say threatens their industry. Between a raise and between automation, which is more important?
I really think that automation is going to be more important. I mean, it doesn't make sense to pay us $100 an hour and robots are doing our work, so we have no hours during the week.
Welcome to the evolution and the changing of the tides and growth in an industry. That's almost like saying, hey, we should still be riding horses when we got cars. Or we should never update the auto line to make cars more efficient or to make it more efficient for us to build vehicles. And then we basically removing the ability to capitalize off of it or make, because see, one of the arguments that they was making, and I seen the union boss, and I actually played that for you guys. And he said, yeah, man, it's a dangerous job and it'd be deaths and people dying and people get tired and they slip and fall. And I seen a box crush somebody. Well, he kind of argued in favor of automation because it removes the liability from the company because you don't have any more people to have to worry about, or you have less people doing more dangerous jobs to have to worry about, that then prevents you from having to pay huge life insurance and huge wages and healthcare coverage over to the workers. And so the workers understandably are selfish and they saying, listen, we don't want to go back to college. We don't want to get no college. We only want to get a GED high school diploma. We don't want to have to change careers. We don't want to evolve. We want our kids to be able to take these same jobs. And more than they are scared about the pay raise, because you got to remember that the company actually met them up to like 55% in agreeing to demands as far as raising their wages. But the company is not for still keeping the same amount of people and dock workers in order to ship goods and services into the United States of America. It doesn't make sense. You got to be able to cut costs somewhere. You can't just raise costs and that be the end of it. It got to be passed over to the consumers. It got to be passed over to the people that are affected by it. And then you got to cut costs by then making it easier and safer for people to do their jobs. That's just life. It's life. I seen it in the steel mill. I used to work on the pickling lines. And the pickling lines is basically a certain type of steel, is rolled steel, that then goes through a cleaning process. That's basically an acid purification process that cleans the steel, and then it trims off the sides to the specific width that you want the steel itself, which then is shipped over into the stamping plants, and then they stamp parts out of it. And then they start to obviously put those same parts into whatever it is that you're making, whether it's a refrigerator, a washing machine, a car, whatever. Whatever steel needs, that's what they stamp those parts into being, right? And so I seen it in the pickling lines, and we had the same technology from like 40, 50 years before I had got there when I had first gotten to the plant. And they had been talking about modernizing, and if somebody was going to buy it, then they was going to completely change the pickling lines, because it took 4 of us, 5 of us, 6 of us on the back end and like 7 more people on the front end. So the back end people are the ones that, it was 3 different stations, right? So on the first station, you chop off the front of it in order to be able to feed it into the machine, right? So the first you got the crane operators, and you got the person that directs the crane operator on the floor. That's 2 people right there. Then the second person, which was usually me, and then I had to learn all of the jobs. The second person was, you go over, right? And then you put it on the little machine, and then I would take the machine and I would have to balance it and then roll it in there. And sometimes it could fall over depending on how bad the coil was or whatever, because it was rolled up steel. It was Straight up raw hot steel. You can get burned by it. Then you had a checker. The checker had to come through and make sure that it was the exact right coil. So he would have to come through and make sure that all of the writing on there was right. That's 3 people. Then it's the fourth person, which was probably me. I would feed it into the machine. The 5th person would chop off the front. The 6th person would then make sure that it was welded, right? They had to weld the coil to the last coil that had ran through the machine so that it attach itself, and then it basically pulls it through the acid purification process, right? And then it could break. If it breaks while it's going through the acid purification process, then the whole line is going to be down for the next 4 to 5 hours. We all get paid for nothing. It's a whole bunch of stuff, right? But you can get written up for that if you don't weld it right, if you don't go through the process right. So you have to weld it, make sure that the weld was great, make sure it doesn't break. And that's 7 people right there. Then you have to go through the acid purification process. And then the people that's on the front end, they chop it off, roll it back up, go through, inspect it, get the crane operator, pass it off, take it over. And then once all of the chopped steel gets too filled up, then you can get overtime. You had to go in there and scrape all of the steel out, and that's where we made all of our money. So we will be making a lot of money, but we will be doing a lot of work. And you had to be very much aware of it, because one break, one problem, one issue, it actually messes up a whole lot of money, and it messes up everything that go. But my point is with all of that is that eventually, before I left, right before I left and right before I got out of there, because I already seen the writing on the wall anyway, so I was going to school and everything, all of that anyway. They had been thinking about building new pickling plants. We went and visited, right? I had an opportunity to go and visit one of the new modern ones that they had innovated and built. And all of those 14, 15, 16 people, and not even including the supervisor and the checkers and all of that stuff that go to the next process, it took 3 people. Went from 15 to 3. It was faster, less issues, less problems. Acid purification process was better, quicker, more modern, better air, less crane operators, all of that. 3 people was able to do the job of 15. I said, I'm out of here. I'm not about to wait. I'm not about to sit here and advocate and try to go back and forth and try to figure out whether or not I'm going to be able to keep my job for the next 30 years. I never anticipated being there for 30 years. I said, nope. Got to make sure that I'm good. Ain't about to be getting laid off. Got fired. So I had to go through the process anyway. But all I did was expedite me actually going to get my education and getting into industries and really deep diving into entrepreneurship. It was a blessing, and I just made the adjustment and pivoted. But if I hadn't have got fired, if I hadn't have got let go from that job, I don't know how much faster I would have expedited the process and going into my purpose. So I just looked at it as a blessing. I stayed down. I made the adjustment, went to school full time, also did 2 jobs, and I was just grinding. But it's still people there today, and I talk to them sometimes, and they tell me how it's changed and how it's evolved and how things is different, and they don't need as many people anymore. Automation is coming. Automation is coming. It's faster, it's more efficient, it saves the company money. That's how they're going to pay you all your money. It's just the way that it go.
The use of robotic cranes, vehicles, and container management is becoming increasingly common across Asia and Western Europe. What are the effects of automation here?
Automation leads ultimately to a significant reduction in operating costs as well as efficiency at the ports.
Automation eliminated more than 1,000 full-time roles at the ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles between 2020 and 2021.
Hopefully that becomes...
They ain't had to worry about you complaining about going to work during COVID.
Something that other ports look at and say there is a way to resolve this, to maintain a balance of a productive workforce, but also drive these efficiencies that the economy needs.
The strike could cost the U.S. economy up to $4.5 billion a day.
And you have less theft. And you have less theft.
A prolonged strike lasting longer than a month could drive up prices for car parts, medical devices, and construction materials. At this grocery store in New York, they're stocking up on produce and other perishables, worried some staples could soon be in short supply.
If it goes weeks, a month, or more, there could be a very big effect. We'll definitely have higher prices, and we might have empty shelves.
While the White House does have some authority here and members of the administration are in touch with both sides, it says it will not get involved at this point. President Biden did say today, though, that he wants both sides to come to the table and get this strike done.
Wow. What a revelation, Biden. Thank you for helping us get this deal done in order to prevent America from shutting down. Honestly, I think that Biden is just completely mailing it in. Here's a longshoreman, an Alabama longshoreman, that explains about this strike and what's going on with automation and what they actually fear.
You know, with that being said, that we represent workers. So even during the pandemic, we had some of our people got sick out here working, trying to get the goods in and out of the country. We had people who died.
Got that Loves, that coffee from Loves. Anybody that's never took a road trip or been in a truck, you know what that Loves is.
And guess what? Those foreign carriers made hundreds of billions of dollars. They took that money back to their country. So in my opinion, that's one of the problems with inflation. and I say on automations, machines don't pay taxes. You know, everybody can say what they want to, but they're not subject to what we do. So, you know, I tell people, because this is my 35th year, come work on the docks and live in my shoes and see how you like it.
Nope.
So the average person can't do it because we miss birthdays, we miss wedding anniversaries, we miss all the normal things that people's like Alabama game. We miss all of that because
that's what happens when you make $150,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year with a high school degree. That's what happens. What do you mean? So do police officers, so do firefighters, so do plant workers, so do Amazon drivers, so do gig workers, so do Anton from AntonDaniels.com as a content creator. Absolutely. I wanted to go visit my Gam while I was over on the West Coast.
Guess what?
I wanted to visit Gam while I was over on the West Coast. I'm telling you, I did. I was busy. I wanted to visit Gam. I wanted to visit my Gam. I didn't have an opportunity to. Guess what? I missed stuff all day long. It's called being an adult. Hey, I didn't get a chance to come and see you that day. I got super busy with work.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to come to your hotel room, but I'm gonna fly down there to see you as soon as I can. I got really busy with work.
Yeah, God bless you.
Okay, I just wanted to call you and tell you that.
All right, baby.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. I wanted to go visit my Gam. She's 91 years old. She said, you make sure you come to my hotel room. She was staying at the Trump. Make sure you come and visit me in my hotel room tomorrow, Anton. I want to see you again. I said, I got you. Guess what? I had to mail it in. I ain't even give a phone call. I'm just now calling. I had to mail it in, baby. Guess what? That's what men do. We have to make the sacrifice. Somebody got to suffer. And guess what? Sometimes it's our family. Okay, baby, I love you. I'm praying for you, honey. That's what she said to me. We took pictures together and everything. They sent me them pictures. We took pictures together and everything. Shout out to Gam. Love my grandmother. We had to make the sacrifice, though. We had to do what we had to do. You know what I'm saying?
When a ship pull in, we here 24 hours, 7 days a week. So we working around the clock until that ship vessel finish. So, you know, selfish is not something that we're not. Matter of fact, we made an ultimate commitment to the United States. That's to move commerce in and out of the country.
Realistically, I do understand what they're saying, though. They just doing what they got to do to try to protect themselves. But again, change is inevitable. Evolution is inevitable. Automation is inevitable. Just stop putting, I just don't want to put, I'm never going to put I'm not going to put my life in the hands of other people, is all I'm saying. So we'll get to Ron DeSantis tomorrow. It's been a great show. Great show. I try to keep this tight as possible. So we're going to get to Ron DeSantis tomorrow. We're going to give y'all an update on some other things that I got planned for y'all. And then make sure y'all tap into the Patreon because we got Block Club this weekend where we're going over everything real estate related. So we're going to do a live stream exclusively just for the Patreon members. And then get your tickets and make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithms. Hey, the likes is low. Before y'all leave today, make sure y'all get y'all likes up. What the hell y'all got going on? Bada Dan Dem says, I don't think these so-called hurricanes are actually natural disasters. Vaccines didn't take us out fast enough. Neither their viruses. Open up your eyes. And why are they trying to ship so many people here in order to get these jobs then? Jay Ben says, no, not my overnight parts from Japan. Fix it, Donald J. Bald head black guys in the building says, do you know what stocks are involved with automation or reliable source to read about them? We can go over it inside of the Patreon. I could do some research. Not right off the top of my head. I mean, every single company is involved with automation. You know what I'm saying? So we can go over it in the Patreon. I don't know what equipment that's directly tied to the ports or anything like that that's rocking with automation, but we'll figure it out. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to support the platform. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Jay Sanchez says, I think the point of it all is that America has gotten away from truly being American and caring about other Americans. Given a D goes far, and our administration doesn't care. Shout out to my dog, Jay Sanchez. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. We're going to deep dive more into this Diddy conversation, Jaguar Wright, these accusations, possible tapes, and who could possibly be on them. So we're going to get messy. We might get into a little bit of politics, maybe a little bit of sports, maybe a little bit of popular culture. But it's going to be fun because I got my friends with me. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I am going to see y'all later on today, later on tonight. Deuces. Oh, let me read this last super chat before I get up out of here. Great job, big bro. Keep up the good work. Shout out to Big Al. I appreciate you, Big Al. Hey, Al, I checked out your channel the other day, bro. Shout out to you, man. You got a good channel. I like that. You do a lot of good cuts and stuff like that. So I do, man. I love my content creators, and I have checked out your channel. Shout out to you, Big Al. Somebody has sent me your channel, and so that's dope, man. Thank you for rocking out with me, man. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all to everybody that tuned into the show. I'll have the timestamps up shortly. Make sure you tap into the Patreon, subscribe on your way out the door, and get your tickets. Tune in to After Hours tonight. Peace.